All right, so in the last video, we talked about how chronic pain and illness are processes that gradually develop over time, that genetics and life experiences and various triggers can start this process, and that your biology shifts, your system, your mind-body system, so to speak, practices various protective and maladaptive responses, and that is built into your neural networks. Through practicing it over time, your system learns it and it becomes kind of set. And that's affecting your neurologic activities and emotional and mental responses, your neuromuscular functioning of your motor system, your gastrointestinal system, your hormones, your immune system. To varying degrees, those are all influenced because it's all one system, and it's all working together, presumably to protect you from danger, but effectively to generate these secondary problems of chronic pain and chronic illness. So the system gets unbalanced, the neural networks change, gene expression can change, and the outcome is chronic pain and chronic illness. And just like it can be learned, it can be unlearned. And so this video is going to start talking about how do you help the healing process? How do you unlearn chronic pain? How do you relearn health? So healing's a learning process. It's about the conscious choices that you make on a daily basis, lifestyle, behavior, habits, thought patterns, mindset. You could break it into three parts because I like to do that to make it easier. And they're called 3Ms. There's your mind-body system, your metabolic or biochemical system, and your motor or your movement system. And all of those are ways that you can kind of grab hold of your physiology and on a regular, consistent basis, start to shift your physiology towards health. So obviously there's a lot to unpack there, but the point is that you really need to think about it as I am taking charge of my health. I'm not expecting someone to fix me. I'm not looking for an overnight miracle that suddenly I'm going to be better. What I'm looking for is gradual change over time that happens because I've made conscious choices and I've been doing stuff to help my mind-body system, to optimize my metabolic system, nutrition, inflammation, all of that, and to actually use the power of my movement system to help my body heal. Okay, so this whole aspect of retraining and unlearning pain and illness and relearning health. There's these two aspects of unlearning the bad stuff and learning the good stuff. Pretty simple, right? Let's start by talking about unlearning the bad stuff. And you got to start that conversation by talking about stress. And almost everybody now knows that you have a stress response and you have a relaxation response. This is physiology that's been demonstrated for 50 years, and interventions to evoke the relaxation response have been tested over and over and over again in so many different realms of health and showing their benefit because they balance that system out. You're meant to go through stress in life. Life is not meant to be stress-free despite what the magazines tell you. But the point is you have stress and then you have relaxation and the system's in balance. Most of us in our current time are stressed. There's a lot of difficult things going on in the world. And if you've got chronic pain, chronic illness, there is a protective stress response going on. And you probably like overdoing it on the stress response and underdoing the relaxation response. And simple techniques, there's a bunch of different ones, can actually evoke the relaxation response. And lots of research showing us that those are beneficial in a variety of different kinds of conditions and situations to enhance well-being, to help people cope with pain, to reduce the effects of chronic illness in various ways on various organ systems. The key is consistency. We're talking about a learning model. We're talking about the body has practiced for months or years an unbalanced stress response, and all of that influences in the whole body-wide system. And so what you're looking at doing is shifting that. And that means consistency. Nerves that fire together, wire together. You want to shift your neural networks. You want to bathe your whole body and mind in biochemistry that starts to shift gene expression over time. So you want to try to do it on a regular basis. Okay, hopefully that all makes sense. But there's a couple of problems with relaxation training. I've been teaching meditation for a lot of years. And what I hear over and over again from a lot of people is, Doc, I try to relax and I get more tense. So it's a really common thing because you know what? If I'm trying to do something, I'm not relaxing. Effort is the opposite of relaxing. And what you could say is stress is when we're trying to put an unbalanced force on something. An absence of stress is just stopping. It's effortless. There's no effort. There's no trying to get anywhere. And so a lot of the relaxation response methods that are sort of like active, hey, you're going to relax, they can trip a person up that way. If it works for you, great, do it. In my own experience, just simply bringing the awareness to the present moment, bringing awareness to the sensual experience of life, bodily sensations, breathing, sounds, textures, even the taste of food, that's all about bringing your awareness and your consciousness into the here and now. And there isn't stress here and now. Mental emotional stress comes from future and past. It comes from comparing and thinking and striving and yearning and trying. And when you just bring your awareness into the here and now, the whole system starts to calm down and relax. In my experience, that's often a big change for people who are sort of stuck in the I can't meditate, I can't relax. Okay, so don't meditate, don't relax. Just pay attention in a structured way. Just notice what you're experiencing. Notice your breathing. Let your breathing be like waves coming in from the sea and rolling up on the shore and rolling out to the sea. Okay, it's an experiential process. The second big challenge with relaxation and stress management in general is what I've heard from so many people, which is I feel great when I'm doing it, but then as soon as I get back to life, wow, everything hits me. And suddenly, like, I'm back into the vortex and I'm into the reactivity and, whatever it is, like the wife or the husband or the coworker who does something unkind, or the pain flare or the financial issues that trigger something. And before you know it, you've fallen back in the hole. So what do you do about that? One of the first things you do about that is realize that it's totally normal. If you've been practicing being in a reactive stress state for months or years, then your body's used to it. That's what we're talking about here. You're trying to change physiologic habits, and it can take time. And it's totally normal that you get pulled back into the challenging stuff. There's a deeper level to this if you start really thinking about the structure of a human being and a human soul, which is that we often have areas in our deeply held experience, in our heart, even in our bodily memory, that are associated with painful traumatic experiences. And until we start to actually unravel that and unwind that, they're going to still pull. They're going to pull our attention. They're going to pull our physiology. They're going to have a pull on your emotional experiences. So that's where it gets a bit deeper. Because the idea of bringing your attention and your awareness to the present moment experience, yes, it can be very relaxing, but there's a deeper process. And what happens is you develop this quality of your own mind that's able to be present. And you actually gradually condition your mind and your emotions to observe what's going on without getting sucked into the drama, without getting sucked into the judgments and the habits of self-blame, self-judgment, criticism of self or others, and the emotional reactivity that they create. And in my own experience and what I've witnessed with so many people, there is this process by which the awareness develops over time. There's a part of your mind and soul that is elevated above your emotional reactivity, and you develop it, you build it, you condition it, you teach it, you learn it by practicing it. And that's why the real benefits from meditation happen from practice, by doing it on a consistent basis, by observing, by being present, by letting go of the reactivity, by falling off and getting sucked into it and then letting go again. It's a training process whereby you're essentially saying to your whole being, I'm paying attention and I'm here, and I'm not going to go down those pathways. I'm saying no, essentially, to the normal reactivity. Like I'm sitting there breathing and I'm paying attention, and I notice the thought that comes up that often triggers me, and I choose to just let it go. I notice an awareness, that an emotion that might come up that might trigger me. Maybe it's sadness or fear, and I just choose to hold it. I decide to compassionately relate to it. Okay, there's a difficult emotion. I'm feeling fear. I'm experiencing pain. Let me just be present to that as if it was a little child who needed my loving care and attention, and hold it in my heart without getting into the whole reactive, oh my gosh, how's it going to change? I can't live like this. The things, the habits of reactivity that naturally become part of our being when we're dealing with chronic pain and illness can be unlearned. And that's really what mindfulness training is about. There's a lot of different layers to it, but the basic idea is developing awareness and consciousness that are present, discerning, and compassionate, which means I understand why this could happen. With all the different things that has gone on in life that have happened to me, that have happened to the world, of course, this is what's happening right now. I'm falling back into fear and irritation and anger. I'm slipping into chronic pain. I've been rehearsing it for 10 years. Okay, I'm noticing it. I'm letting go. I'm not getting caught in the spiral. And what happens is that there's this part of your mind or your brain or your being, depending on how you want to think about it, that you develop. And it gets called mindfulness in some circles. In the teachings of Torah and Kabbalah, it is the higher soul. It's the neshama, the part of us that is just present to our life experience and can connect our sort of lower needs and drives with our higher aspirations. And it's your biggest ally in healing. Okay, so many of the people who I serve appreciate shorter videos because it's easy to absorb that way. And we're going to continue to learn about unlearning pain. But I'm going to just take a break here and continue in the next video. You can find that whether on the blog or on the YouTube page or elsewhere. Just look for the next number in the sequence. And please join me there. Please share if you find this interesting. And talk to you soon.